Hello, folks. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on when this video gets posted. Okay, before I get started, I just want to say I'm apologizing for the beeping in advance. I made breakfast earlier, and so I don't know what it is. When you make bacon, it just like the smoke lingers, and I have not changed the batteries in this thing yet. So, gosh, it's just frustrating. Okay, but anyhow, today, you guys, I wanted to speak to you about what was going on with this track story, right? The track runners. Okay, so you have Miss Everett, who is the perpetrator, and you have Miss Tucker, who was the victim here, suffering from a concussion and a possible skull fracture, and it's unbelievable, not so much unbelievable, not surprising, but yet again disappointing to me that Black America on the left want to rally behind this young girl who is the perp. We all saw this video. We all saw what happened. This girl deliberately raised her hand and hit Miss Tucker over the head with a baton, giving her a concussion and a possible skull fracture. We all saw that. We saw that from multiple angles. We saw it from the front. We saw it from the side. Okay. We all know what we saw here. Okay. And so she's coming out whining, crying, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. People are sending me hate mail and death threats and they're getting on my social media. Clearly, you are not responsible enough or mature enough to handle the sport, let alone the internet. You could just delete your Facebook. You could just delete your social media and not have any interaction with the internet if people are coming at you sideways. Like, no one has actually taken physical action against you the way you took action against that young girl, the way you took action against Miss Tucker, minding her own business, focusing on trying to win like athletes do. And so, out of fear, out of panic of losing or falling back into third place, you hit this girl on the head, giving her a concussion and a skull fracture. And we're supposed to feel guilty. We're supposed to feel bad for you because people are saying terrible things about you on social media. Welcome to the 21st century. People do that. When you commit a crime and it's on camera and people don't like what you did, they're going to go straight to your page and say how much they despise you. They're going to go straight to your Instagram and get in the comments and say why they think you're a terrible person. If you don't like it, if you can't handle it, delete your social media. You could just do that. Instead, she gets on camera, she cries, she whines, okay? And she tries to make everybody else feel bad for thinking that she should suffer consequences here. It did so horribly. I mean, people, oh, she is such a manipulator, and I think this is why I say teenage girls are animals, because this is what teenage girls do. If not resorting to physical violence, which she obviously did, we utilize vindictive behaviors, right? We'll be manipulative. She's manipulating the press, she's manipulating her classmates, she's manipulating the NAACP, and I do think in assistance with her parents, because I don't think she's smart enough to figure that out by herself, that she could just lie on camera saying that there is a bunch of racists out here saying terrible things about her, when she could take action and just delete her social media and not engage with that kind of, comments. She could just delete all that, have no interaction with it whatsoever. Instead, she's going to get in front of the camera and say, because people are saying terrible racist things towards her, that the NAACP got involved. But both girls are Black, though. The criminal, the perp, and the victim are Black. They're both Black females, okay? Both females of color, yet you are involved in this. Why? The girl holds a rally outside of her high school, and the classmates are out here chanting, we stand with you, we stand with you, we stand with you. The president of the NAACP, James Boyd, gets out there at that same rally and says he's horrified at the fact that people are saying terrible things about this young lady and her family's character, going based off what we thought we saw. Not what we saw, but what we're thinking we're seeing. Like, we didn't just watch this girl bash another girl in the head with a baton. Like, we didn't just watch that. From every angle, we've seen this video. She deliberately hit this girl over the head. Now, the most, benefit of the doubt that I'm willing to give her is that I don't believe this was premeditated. I don't think you said to yourself when you showed up at the track that day that if someone dares try to pass you, you were going to hit them over the head with a baton. I don't think this was premeditated. I do, however, believe that this was not an accident and that you intentionally hit this girl over the head because you so desperately wanted to win, right? Winning was more important than the safety of your opponents. Winning was more important than your freedom. Winning was more important than morality and integrity. And this is the problem that I have with Black folk. We're choosing to defend the criminal yet again. We did the same thing with George Floyd. I'm not here to talk about whether or not you agree with Ben Shapiro about Derek Chauvin being pardoned, not pardoned. I'm not playing a role in that debate. I'm just going to be like most people and see what happens, right? Most people are just going to watch the news and see what happens. That's what should have happened with this story. Something horrible happened. Oh my goodness, it's a terrible thing. And then you go on with your day and you wait for the story to break out to say whether or not this girl's going to jail or not. Like, that's how this should have happened, right? Something bad like this happens. You just wait for the justice system to do their part, to do their due diligence, and then Guilty, not guilty, go on with your day. That's how this was supposed to go. Just another story about black on black crime that we see in the news, and you wait for justice to do its thing. Either she's guilty or she's not guilty. That's not what happened here. What happened here was we saw this video. She felt a kind of way because people are saying that she's a terrible person. And so she gets in front of the camera and says, I don't deserve these comments. I don't deserve to be treated this way, even though we caught you on camera hitting somebody over the head and giving them concussions and skull fractures. Okay, that happened. And people are going to go to your page and say why they don't like you. They think you're a horrible person. They think your parents are terrible parents because we don't believe you've suffered any kind of consequences. Because if you had, you probably never would have done this. If you had good parents, they probably would have taught you how to control your damn emotions. She's not mature enough to handle a sport because sometimes you lose, girl. That happens. Sometimes you lose. And if you are not mature enough to handle the loss like a lady, then you shouldn't be playing the damn sport. And I'm sorry to be cussing, but you guys, I'm just yet again frustrated because Black America is rallying behind this girl. She's the criminal. We saw it on camera. There's no doubt in our minds that this girl is guilty. No doubt in our mind. Charged with assault and battery. Okay? I don't care that she's a minor. You want to act out like this. You want to act out in violence and put other people's lives at risk. You being a 17-year-old girl, yeah, no. They're going to say she's a 17-year-old girl because they want us to feel sorry if the judge throws the book at her. No, I don't care that she's a minor. You got teenagers out here killing their parents. No, no, no. They're not kids. They're not babies. They're not toddlers. Okay? These are well-developed enough individuals that they should know right from wrong. And if she was never taught that you get consequences for bad actions, you about to learn today. F around and find out. That's what happened here. You should have controlled your emotions. Okay, seems to me that you were such in a heat of the moment, such in your adrenaline, and such fear that you were about to lose that you assaulted another young lady. And we're supposed to feel bad because people are saying mean things about you on social media. I don't give a damn about your Facebook page. Okay, I don't care if there's a racist out here saying. So there's a racist out here saying all these terrible racist things about you, and defending the victim who is also a person of color and a female. The racists are coming out and saying we think you're horrible. But are they saying anything horrible about the victim? I don't see that, though. The victim didn't come out and say, yeah, people are being racist towards me and they say that I deserve it because I'm Black. I don't see that. How racist can these people be if they're not even going after the victim? There's a question. Why should I believe you? Why should I believe you? I say you're crazy, it's because I hate my people. If I say you're a crazy Black female, then it's because, oh, you hate women. You can't call a Black woman crazy because they just get offended. You can't call them angry Black women because, oh, they just get offended. It's because you hate your race, Arshel. It's because you hate your gender, Arshel. No, 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 no. It's because you behaved erratically. You behaved out of your emotions. You could not control yourself. Yeah, I would say that kind of characteristically seems to me like it's kind of nuts. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of bonkers. You're crazy, young lady. You're crazy. You had no control over your emotions because you were so in the heat of your adrenaline that you didn't know how to control yourself enough to keep yourself from hitting this other girl. Like, it never would have occurred to me to attack my opponent when I was playing basketball in middle school. Okay, I've lost a few games, but it never occurred to me to go physically assault my opponent because I'm losing the game. And if you are not mature enough to handle a loss, then you should be playing the sport. Winning was more important than your freedom. Like, even if it's not about the next person, you should care enough about yourself to never put yourself in the position to be without your freedom. Sorry, but when your ass goes to jail, you are a slave of the state. And I got no problem with that. I got no issue with the criminal being a slave to the state. Go build them license plates. You have no privacy. You have no right to engage with the rest of the law-abiding society because you clearly cannot control yourself. And they're going to defend her because she's a criminal. They could have stayed out of it. The NAACP should have stayed out of it. They could have. They could have chosen to back the victim, or they could have stayed out of it altogether because they usually stay out of it when it's a Black on Black crime. Why did you get involved in this? Because this young girl says she's getting death threats from racists. That's why they got involved. The girl's not stupid. Now, either she decided to say these things or her parents told her to say these things. That it's because racists on people online said terrible things that you now have the NAACP in here trying to pressure the prosecution into dropping all the charges, as if Miss Tucker, the victim here, doesn't deserve justice. This should have just been another horrible story that happens in America where you see it on the news and you think, oh my goodness, how horrible. Let's see what happens. The justice does its thing. That's how this should have played out. Like all other Black on Black crimes. That's it. That's not what happened. What happened was this young girl got in front of the camera, crying her fake tears, saying because she's getting death threats, she doesn't think she should be treated this way. No, people are going on your social media to say how horrible you are, what a sore loser you are, what a terrible person you are, and how horrible your parents might be because clearly you didn't know how to control yourself enough to do this right. And Black America, of course, has to defend not just the Black person, but the Black criminal. Yo, that's a problem. Again, I've told you guys, I have an obsession with the Black woke, with the Black power, because it clearly shows me that their morality is not coming from Christ. Their morality is not coming from God. Their morality comes from justifying, their morality comes from their blackness. That's what this is. That they could just decide what is black. What is black is what is right. So it doesn't matter if they are a criminal because they're black, they shouldn't suffer any consequences. Doesn't matter that affirmative action hurts other races. No, it's okay because it benefits Black people. It is not equality they want, it is vengeance. Just admit that. It is not justice you're looking for, it is vengeance. No justice, no peace. Okay, well, now what's happening here? Because a Black girl is about to be denied justice after being attacked by a Black female. So, no justice, no peace. Where the riots at? Y'all gonna make songs about Miss Tucker, the victim? Or y'all gonna sit here and continue to rally behind Miss Everett, the perp? Make up your minds about which one it's gonna be, because here's the thing, I'm pretty sure what it's gonna be. They're gonna continue to choose to rally behind the perp, because that's what Black people do. Not all of us. Some of us have common sense. Some of us get our power from Jesus Christ. I ain't about that Black power. I'm about Christ's power. I get my morality from the Almighty. They get theirs from their skin tone. They look at their skin color as their God. That's the Black God, the Black power. That's what they choose to rally behind. I pray to the ancestors. I don't pray to Jesus Christ. I thank my ancestors for my life, not the Almighty. Now, it's not that I am dissing my ancestors. I am grateful that I know the stories of my ancestors, all the strength that it took for them to free themselves. I'm grateful. That runs through my blood. That's what I say. Like, we all say this. I think most Black people say this. I thank my ancestors for the strength. But I also thank Jesus Christ first. Do they do the same thing? No, clearly not. Your morality does not come from the Almighty. Your power comes from your skin tone. You don't believe in consequences, which, again, is a principle that comes from Jesus Christ, from God, right? What's right? What's wrong? What's morale? Where is that coming from? Where do these things come from? It is not justice they want. It is vengeance. They believe that Black Americans should get away with criminal activity just because they're Black. That's not Christian. But you dare say you're Christian as Black people. Just admit that you're not. Just admit it. And then we can go on with our day. We can easily say, okay, well, I can't really be disappointed in Black folk who are going to rally behind this chick simply because this is who they are. This is what they believe. Y'all are just not saying it. Say it already. Just say you don't believe in Jesus. Just say you don't believe in God. Just say you don't believe that your morality comes from the Almighty, that your morality is dictated by your skin tone. And so you can just decide what's right, what's wrong, what's morally good, and what's morally incorrect. Or immoral, I should say, right? You get to just decide that, because if it's about Black people, no matter what we do, good, bad, all of it is good because they're Black. Both people are Black in this, the perp and the victim. Why are you choosing to rally behind the criminal and not the victim? Why not just stay out of it altogether? You could just make that decision. You chose James Boyd, president of the NAACP, an organization that is losing, or if not had already lost, its credibility and respect because of who you choose to rally behind. George Floyd, whose last act in life was criminal activity. Now this young girl, who is going to be known as a criminal, she chose to attack her opponent because she was about to lose. And you're going to rally behind her so she doesn't have to suffer any she doesn't have to suffer any consequences for her criminal actions. Either she is manipulating the situation to get out of suffering from suffering from jail time, or her parents are behind this, trying to keep her from dealing with the consequences of her criminal actions. And that's why we're questioning the integrity of the parents. Because if it's not her, which I can't say she's not smart enough to figure it out, it is her parents, which why this is why people are saying, what kind of parents do you have if they're just going to stand by and let the victim go without justice? It shouldn't matter that this is your child. What matters is that she committed a crime and someone else got hurt because of it. Now, she may not have this as a pattern. She may not be someone who is used to doing these things, but it's quite possible that she was never taught self-control. And because of the lack of parenting, the lack of discipline, this is why this happened. She should suffer the consequences. I don't feel sorry for you, Miss Everett. I don't. None of us should. None of us should. She's guilty just from looking at the footage, okay? This should never have blown up into what it was, but it did. And why? Because the NAACP wants to get involved. Because people want to rally behind the criminal yet again. Stop doing that, or just admit it, Black woke. Just admit it. You don't care about morality. You don't care about what's right. You don't care about real justice. You care about vengeance. You care about letting every Black person who was guilty be free just because they're Black. It is just because you're Black why you should get away with crimes. Just because. And that's not okay. That's not equality under the law. That's vengeance. That's not equality. Know the difference. Stop saying you're Christian. That's all I got to say about that, because I got to go take care of some stuff. You guys, it's going to be a busy day today. So thank you all again for watching. You get in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm going to continue to talk about this. I'm going to do an episode of Archie's Briefings. If not today, because I do have a busy day today, then sometime next week, because I do think that it's important that we have these conversations. This is ridiculous, okay, people? The Black Power thing, that's what's playing out right now, okay? This girl is about to have charges dropped. If he's successful, if James Boyd is successful, this girl will not suffer any consequences. And why? Simply off the fact that she is Black. Just off of that. Never mind the fact that the victim is Black as well. So you get in the comments, let me know what you think about this, because this is kind of nonsensical. Again, I apologize for the beeping noise. I gotta change that battery sometime today. I will do that. Means standing on a ladder. The ladders are too tall. It scares me, you guys. I don't really like heights. It scares me. But anyhow, love you guys. I'm gonna go keep my coffee. I've been talking for a minute. Love you guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you. God bless. Kepla.